Well, hello everyone, and welcome to LifeWave Connect. We're so glad that you could join us today and be a part of our LifeWave community where we come together and learn about the amazing technology that is LifeWave, as well as have business training that helps us to share more easily and with more people around the world. So again, very glad that you could join us today. Our LifeWave Connects take place every other Wednesday, and we do 2 sessions, broadcast in English. We have our first session at 11 a.m. Pacific, and our second session is at 6 p.m. Pacific. In our first session, we do provide language services for our supported European languages. And in our evening session, or our second session, we provide translation services for Spanish, Chinese, and Japanese. If you are looking for those services, please look at the bottom of your screen. There's a little button that says interpretation with a globe, and that is where you'll be able to select the language that you will be looking for. We also broadcast our LifeWave Connects live to our Business Builder Facebook group. So you can always see the replay there in English right away. And within a week following this presentation, we'll have all of the translated versions of this available on our YouTube channel, LifeWave Health. We know that many of you enjoy these webinars as a great place to enrich your knowledge about the technology and also to share with those that are looking to maximize their ability to live life to the fullest. So feel free to utilize these trainings as a way to share that and to continue, again, to just learn more and more about the great technology that we have access to. Now, today, we are very lucky and blessed that we have the founder and inventor of LifeWave Technologies with us, and we'll be talking about 2 core products. First and foremost, X39, which is our flagship product and one that many of you have had so much great experience with in our stem cell activation patch. In addition, we'll be talking about IceWave, which is a really wonderful product that helps to really manage some of the symptoms of pain that some may experience. So really looking forward to talking with David specifically about that. Now, before we bring David onto the call, I just want to talk a little bit about what is IceWave for and what is pain. We know that 1 in 100 of the world population, they develop chronic pain every single year. And that chronic pain actually affects at least 10% of the world's population, 60 million people. And in some countries and regions, it's actually as high as 20 to 25%. So there's a lot of people out there that are experiencing some pain, and many of you on this call might be part of that group, whether it's chronic pain or acute pain. You know, in chronic pain, no matter what the source, it affects every aspect of daily life. When you experience pain, sometimes previously cherished routines, playing with kids or grandchildren, leaving each day for work, it often can feel impossible. And those with chronic pain might worry about finances or how to care for family when you're dealing with that kind of pain. You might miss hobbies, favorite sports, life events. Chronic pain can also feel very lonely. And, it really is hard because your daily life will be filled with loved ones and even sometimes doctors. They may not really truly understand what people are experiencing. So truly, we are blessed here at LifeWave to have an answer to that problem. Just imagine if you could experience even a little support in pain management in a drug-free way. Just imagine experiencing some relief. Just imagine helping someone to experience that little bit of relief. Now, to get us started, we actually have a great testimonial from one of our members, Louisa Barlow, out of Arizona, and she's going to talk with us a little bit about her experience with IceWave specifically as part of her LifeWave journey.
Hello, LifeWave friends and family. My name is Louisa Barlow, and I live in the beautiful state of Arizona near the Grand Canyon. I've been using the LifeWave patches for over a year now and love every single one of them and use them every day. But IceWave patches are the patch that brought me into the wonderful world of LifeWave. Last spring, I was hiking and stepped on a loose rock, twisting my ankle and dislocating my kneecap. Immediately, I had terrible pain, hiked back out of the canyon, and had to have my kneecap put back into place. For the next 2 weeks, I continued with terrible pain that got worse and worse to the point where I could not go up and down stairs, could hardly even walk. Then I went to a presentation on the LifeWave patches. IceWave patches were placed on my ankle and my knee. Within a minute or less, the pain in my ankle was entirely clear gone, and the pain in my knee was reduced to the point where I could walk without that excruciating pain. I just couldn't believe it. The pain I had had for 2 weeks was pretty much gone in less than 2 minutes. The journey with LifeWave has only been uphill from there. And I definitely use IceWave. It's my go-to patch for anybody with acute pain because it works wonders within seconds to minutes of applying the patches. I just can't be grateful enough for this amazing technology and for the privilege I have to use these patches every day to help people live better lives. Thank you, David Schmidt.
You know, we love hearing these kind of stories about how people are experiencing amazing results in many areas of their health, but with IceWave specifically, relief from some of the things that are really making it hard to enjoy our lives. Now, as you could hear from Louisa, she's very grateful to David for inventing the wonderful technology that we all experience. And so now I am pleased to introduce you to David Schmidt, our founder, CEO, and inventor of LifeWave technology. David, are you here with us?
Hey, Emily, great to see you.
It's great to see you too. Welcome to the call.
Yeah, great to be here as always. And thank you so much for sharing that testimonial. You know, after 20 years, I never get tired of hearing testimonials about our products, and especially when people have been suffering and now they find relief and comfort. You know, anyone that has experienced pain and not been able to find relief can definitely relate. So when we can provide a product that eases suffering, especially so rapidly and drug-free, what a rewarding business to be in and to be able to provide that gift. So I love hearing those testimonials.
Oh, I know. We never get tired of it, do we, David? It is so special. And I'm sure for you, especially, it just has to be so rewarding to know that this amazing technology that you invented is helping so many people. I can't imagine how that must feel for you.
I think of the patches as my kids. So I'm proud of my kids, but I don't want to take the credit. Because I think in life we should destroy the ego, like David Hawkins would refer to. So I'm proud of my kids. I feel very blessed. I'm thankful to God that we have this company and we have our community of amazing members that bring the technology to people in need. And, you know, speaking about people in need, you know, I don't know if you know it or not, but I'm a huge football fan.
Are you now?
I am. Well, I grew up in New Jersey and New York, and as such, I was a big New York Giants football fan. I'm still a fan.
Okay.
At one point I worked for Bill Parcells, the head coach of the New York Giants. I had the privilege of working for the great Coach Parcells the year after the Giants won the Super Bowl, 1986.
Wow, what an adventure I bet that was.
It was amazing. It was unbelievable privilege. And, you know, the reason I'm mentioning that is I have a surprise for our, you know, more than 600 members in climbing that are on the call right now. We are going to share 3 testimonials on video from former NFL football players. They're NFL alumni, and they're going to tell you about the pain relieving experience that they've had with LifeWave.
Oh, what a treat. I'm so excited. I know everyone can't wait.
All right. You ready?
We're ready. Let's do it.
All right. Let's do it. Okay. Looks like we're optimized here. And here we go.
Start with.
Yeah, you're just a little slower, who you are and your experience.
Hi, Reggie Brown, Atlanta Falcons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Philadelphia Eagles. Love the game, glad it's over. Pain, unbelievable, okay? But the reason why, all the things I've done to my body over the years is taking its toll right now. But I went to the chiropractor, the trainer, the acupuncturist, and the spine doctor. Everybody said something different. But you know what? I tried it all. Still have pain. Start taking the X49, X39, pain, zilch, gone, no more. It's been 2.5 months right now since I started taking it, maybe 3. But I tell you what, whether it works or not, you think, I know it does. It works for me. Thanks so very much.
Awesome.
Name is Daryl Clack, NFL alumni, former player of Dallas Cowboys. Here to talk about my experience with LifeWave. This product is very, I gotta say, rewarding because since I've tried it, it's done numerous things for me. One and most that I've experienced was I have a lot of joint pains. I have arthritis in both knees, arthritis in both shoulders, lower back pain. And while using LifeWave, it has eliminated a lot of the pain and discomfort. So it has made it a lot easier for me to move around, a little bit more flexibility, and more opportunity to move around, do daily life living. Secondly, what it's done for me is it has improved my complexion, my face. It's cleared up, some acne or anything I've had on my face that by washing this wouldn't take away, but it seemed that cleared it up. And so it's a product that's very rewarding. It's a product that I stand by. It's a product that I enjoy using and will continue to use because of the process I'm getting from it is very rewarding, very relaxing, and very makes my life a lot easier as far as day-to-day production. So thanks everybody for allowing me to be able to use this product, LifeWave. I stand by it 100%.
Go.
Hi, Dick Butkus here. Listen, I've been using LifeWave patches for 3 months now and have experienced a few benefits such as less pain, better circulation in my legs, and a reduction of pain in my son's ankle. Now, they may not be for everybody, but I have seen them work for me and I use them daily.
Well, I sure like those, David. Those are pretty awesome. I mean, I know so many people have great experience with the products. I know we have other NFL players that are part of our community that have, or former NFL players that have used these, so many. I love these testimonials, though. They're awesome.
They're amazing. And for our friends in Europe and Singapore and around the world, Dick Butkus, the third fellow, the final testimonial that we showed there, somebody saying the Bears, the Chicago Bears. Yeah, he is still considered one of the greatest American football players of all time. So to be able to get those testimonials was a real treat, and really happy to be able to share that with our community.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm seeing some comments here. Oh my gosh, these are so exciting. Can we have them? Can we share them? Now, of course, everyone knows you can access the recording here for later use, but are there any kind of restrictions that we should be aware of, David, with those special testimonials?
Yes. So, well, regarding those testimonials, from my perspective, when we talk about pain, we're not talking about treating a disease. So if someone has arthritis, we're not talking about curing the arthritis or treating the arthritis. This is all about pain relief and pain management. So we're going to get into the details behind this today. And we're also going to be showing the scientific evidence in our clinical studies as to the proof that we have that this works. So it's not a placebo effect. There's a legitimate phenomena that's occurring here, why people are getting reduction in inflammation and relief of pain. So we're going to get into this in a lot of detail. And then we're going to do a small training on the best ways to use the patches and a number of different placement options. So people will definitely want to stick around for the entire training.
It's going to be great. I can't wait. I know everyone's been looking forward to this. So, David, I really like when we first get started on these webinars, because I know we have a lot of new people or people that are just researching a little bit about LifeWave. I think it's really important that we help everyone understand the basics of the technology by understanding what phototherapy is, and then how have you applied that methodology to the patches, if that's the right word, methodology.
Yeah, sure thing. So there's really two different areas, you could say, of phototherapy on a technical basis. So but they both refer to the same thing, where we're stimulating the skin with light to produce a specific effect. Very good example of how light interacts with the human body, which is an example we use all the time, is that sunlight will cause the body to make vitamin D. Now, for men that are a little bit older, let's say over the age of 40 or 50, and they're facing declining levels of testosterone, if they go out in the sun, especially down here in Florida or California, and they don't have a shirt on, and they shine light up on their androgen receptors on top of the neck and shoulders, that will actually elevate testosterone, completely drug-free.
Wow.
So light will definitely cause biochemical changes in the body. There is no debate about this, and we're going to get into scientifically about how this happens. So the way that I've applied it in this technology is that the patches contain natural materials. They're stereoisomers of amino acids and sugars, along with other compounds, and they're processed in a way so that they will reflect and stimulate the skin with very specific wavelengths of light. And by doing this, we can cause very specific biochemical changes in the body. And that can be applied, of course, to pain relief.
I love that. Some people, when they first hear about the technology, it's really hard to understand, right? Because nothing's being absorbed into the body through our skin, right? As far as a transdermal effect, right? So it's hard for us sometimes to understand. So I really appreciate you explaining that, because I think that's one of the fundamental pieces of really truly understanding what makes this technology work and how it's different from other things that you might see out there, right?
Yeah. Well, people go out. We got the summer coming up. It's almost summer. It was 91 yesterday in Orlando, where I'm living now. So summer has arrived. We can take it for granted that we go out in the sun because we want a tan. Not me, because I'm in the lab all the time. But for those that get a break and go out in the sun, they get a tan. And actually what's going on is that the UV light is potentially damaging the skin. And within 15 minutes or so of being out in the sun, the vitamin C gets used up. So the body has to produce an antioxidant to protect the skin from further damage, and that's melanin. So when we see the skin getting darker, it's the body's defense mechanism protecting the body from getting too much UV light, which could, of course, cause things like skin cancer. So that's a great example where UV light can elevate an antioxidant in the body, melanin.
Wow. It really is such an interesting application of this technology with our patches specifically. I really think it's so interesting. And when it comes to X39 and then IceWave, which we're talking about here too, I really think it's so wonderful to understand exactly what is that biological response that's happening within the body and why is that important. Can you talk a little bit about those both and maybe why we would want to use X39 and IceWave together?
Sure thing. I'm going to share screen here, and let's go ahead and pull up a few references. The first thing is we have a very nice comprehensive list of published studies that we've done, non-published studies, and then other scientific papers in the science section of the website. So for those of you that are interested in digging deeper and really getting into the science of LifeWave, this would be a great resource. So first thing is we have, I think it's 18 studies now just on pain relief. So this is really important to our company culturally, and it is about who we are. What I mean by that is, when we think about people that are suffering, when people are in chronic pain, that's all you can think about. And you're not thinking about how can I better myself? How can I improve the world around me? You're thinking about how, this pain is crippling. So being able to have different tools for relief of pain is very important. And two of these tools are IceWave and X39. Of course, carnosine, glutathione, and especially Eon can also be used for providing pain relief. And we back up our claims with studies. So one of the studies, for example, that we have on this website was done on IceWave. It was a pilot study with 40 people. And what's remarkable here is the level of statistical significance. So in other words, people applied the patches and they saw pain relief. And statistically, we got a p-value of 0.0001. Now, in most studies, the p-value, which measures significance, or is a reflection of significance, I should say, you want to get better than 0.05. So this is orders of magnitude better in terms of statistical power. So this completely rules out any type of concept that this could be a placebo effect. There's a legitimate physiological phenomena that's occurring here. And we can measure this. So these are some early studies that we did with Dr. Dean Clark, and we used medical infrared imaging. This technology has been referred to as infrared imaging. It's been referred to as thermography. The terms are relatively interchangeable. But what's important here is that we can measure the wavelengths of light coming off the body. So body heat is infrared. And when people are in pain, we, of course, are going to see zones that are of a higher temperature. So this shows up on an infrared camera that has a very, very high resolution. So this is an example of when the patches were applied, and you can see a circle here to show where the patches were applied. You can see these measurements are generally taken in the study about 20 minutes apart. So we can see a dramatic cooling effect within that 20 minutes of application. So when people apply the patches, let's say with IceWave in this case, they can get immediate relief, and we're going to talk about why that is. But we see over a period of 20 minutes, the pain can come down even more as the inflammation begins to clear and reduce. So, in terms of quality of life, this person could be at an 8, 9, or 10 in terms of perception of pain, and they may be down, 0, 1, 2, 3 level of pain. So this is a dramatic improvement in quality of life. All these documents, by the way, and these images are on our website. Again, this is an example. This was taken as part of the clinical study. It shows the cooling effect. And in this case, you can see the images were taken 5 minutes after the patches were applied. So while it can take up to 20 minutes, in many cases, there can be dramatic results within minutes. A lot of this will depend on the person's age, their overall health, and we found that hydration is extremely important. And we'll be getting to that later when we talk about how to apply the patches. So, but this again is an example of how we can quantitatively measure changes in the body. We can measure levels of inflammation coming down. We can measure increases in antioxidants. We can measure tissue conductivity, and we can measure the thermal signature of the body. And all of these things show favorable changes, which results in pain relief.
Wow, it really is amazing. I love that we have these kind of studies to really help us understand what's going on and prove that what we're saying is happening, right?
Absolutely. And, a document, we're not going to go through it now, but a document that is on our website at the science section was written by Michael Hamblin at Harvard. He certainly is one of the most leading authorities globally on the subject of low-level light therapy or phototherapy or photobiomodulation. And this is a nice document which gets into the technical detail of how light causes biochemical changes in the body. But real simple explanation is, and this ties in with X39, interestingly enough, is that it has to do with copper. Now, copper is a nutrient that we all need, and it's often disregarded. And it's a little bit shocking because the FDA has downplayed the need for copper in our diets. In the 1950s, it was recommended that people get 3 milligrams of copper daily. Now the recommendation is 900 micrograms, so less than 1 milligram. And that may not seem like a big difference, but it is. Because copper is a very powerful antiviral, and we recommend it for people to protect themselves against COVID. We also recommend that if people aren't getting enough copper in their diet, that they should take a small copper supplement just to make sure they have enough copper to make copper peptide. And here, literally, if we didn't have copper, we would die because we wouldn't have a mechanism for making energy in the body. So this is part of a published study which is talking about a chromophore called cytochrome C oxidase. So make this really short and simple. We have an area of our cell called the mitochondria. Mitochondria is the power generator for the cell. And in the mitochondria, we have the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain. And this is a series, it's called a bucket brigade of biochemical reactions that convert food over into energy. And in the final stage, what's so interesting about how we were created is that we're capable of converting light into energy. This cytochrome C oxidase, which is made with copper, is a photoreceptor. It can absorb light and use that light to make energy. As a matter of fact, Dr. Carl Merritt, who I had the privilege to meet, he's a very well-known medical doctor, biomedical researcher, found that we can derive as much as 30% of the energy in our body from sunlight. And it explains why on rainy days that people feel tired. It's because we've cut off our source of energy. So while I'm a big Iron Man fan, I've got to admire Superman and Supergirl because, you know, they get their powers from absorbing sunlight. But as it turns out, us mere mortals here on Earth, we absorb sunlight too, and we use it for energy.
Wow. I think that is so incredible that our bodies are just so beautifully designed, and we can utilize so many great resources that are here on the planet and in the sky, right, to help us to optimize how our bodies function. But I do think the thing that makes LifeWave and the technology that you've developed so special is it helps us to amplify some of those effects, right? And as those biochemical reactions, is that the right word? Reactions in the body?
Yep, that's fair enough.
Yeah, the great things can happen. I know that you've talked about with X39 exactly what peptide is being elevated, and that there's so much clinical research out there that talks about what that does overall. Do you mind just briefly discussing that here with us as well?
Yeah. So, and I'll cover IceWave very quickly as well. So,
Perfect.
Of course, we have blood tests which are on our website, which show that when you apply X39, it elevates copper peptide. GHKCU. And just for completeness, X49 will elevate AHKCU, which is also a copper peptide. The difference is X39 is based on glycine and X49 is based on alanine, which are both amino acids. And as a result, they have different metabolic effects. So we recommend that our members start with X39 because the benefits are so broad, and X49 add it later when you want to do things like build muscles, as you know, and and our strength and stamina. And copper peptide is absolutely extraordinary because it is a gene modulator, and it is a step towards reversing the aging process. So it will reset about 1/3 of the genes in the body to a more youthful state. Now, IceWave, on the other hand, is quite a bit different. It was one of the first patches that I invented. You could say really with Energy Enhancer, it was the first. And what it does is it increases what's called beta oxidation in the body. In other words, it increases the ability of our body to generate energy from fat. It increases fat burning. And we've measured this in the past with a few studies. Now, what does that have to do with pain relief? Well, as people grow older, if they're not using the patches or taking care of themselves, the amount of energy that their cells produce decreases. This then in turn decreases the amount of energy flowing through the nervous system and the tissues. And if the body then in turn produces a resistance, we feel this as pain. So pain can be described as a change in the tissue conductivity. It's either too high or too low. Our brain perceives this as pain. So if we have a product that will naturally increase the amount of energy that the cells make and increase the flow of energy through the tissue, then we can decrease pain without drugs. And that's exactly what IceWave is doing. In fact, we did a study with Tamara Austin and Dr. Homer Nazaran using an electroacuoscope where we measured tissue conductivity, and we saw tissue conductivity improve within 10 seconds of applying IceWave.
Wow. That's so fast.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah. And, I can't tell you how much fun it is when you're up on stage giving a presentation. Could be any of our great members in our community that I've had the pleasure of doing presentations with. I'll call out Roy Sergiono since I've done so many with Roy. And we get 30 people up on stage and go right down the line and patch them with IceWave. And within seconds, they're getting pain relief. It's unbelievably fun and rewarding.
Well, it's funny that you share that example, David, because one of the very first LifeWave events, leader events that I attended, they did just that. They were patching someone in real time. And because of my past work experience, I thought, oh my gosh, that is so risky. What if they don't experience anything? Because I was so new, I didn't know. And of course, they had a great response. And it was amazing. And I've seen it over and over again, like you've said. And I know many of our members here have experience the same. It's such a great product to demonstrate how quickly and effectively people can have relief from years and years of pain, right?
Yeah. It's the product works. It works consistently, but there are some protocols that are better than others, and it's really important that if people want to do pain relief demonstrations, that they know how to do it properly. And in the past, we've done seminars to go through this in tremendous detail. For most of our members, just keep it really simple. I'd recommend X39 and Eon, and that protocol works really well. But IceWave is an unbelievably powerful tool. And if you want to learn just some of the nuances of using it, which we'll get into today, it can provide some pretty dramatic results. I was in Australia once and in front of a group of 400 people. We had a gentleman that was crippled in pain from Parkinson's disease. He was in a wheelchair, and within an hour of applying IceWave and glutathione, he was walking around without any assistance. So these are the type of, that video is online, by the way. It's called LifeWave Aldo, ALDO, on YouTube. You may have to search it with LifeWave. But those are some of the experiences that I've witnessed over the years, really dramatic, life-changing results from these products.
That's incredible. You know, I love that people can get such quick relief from something that's maybe really impacted their ability to live life so quickly. And then you combine that with X39, which helps us to just reverse our age and over time become younger and younger in ourselves. It's so special and can really just, like you said, change people's lives completely.
Yeah, and that's the goal, right? Is that if the whole reason to do age reversal is to keep people as young as long as possible, to have fulfilling and rewarding lives, put people in charge of their destiny so that they don't have to depend on their family. They can be independent, and they can work as long as they want, and they don't have to worry about some of the things that would be normally associated with old age. So that's the goal that we have.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure there's lots of burning questions from our members about, okay, great. How do I make these patches work so that I can have some of those results? Do you mind talking a little bit about how we use IceWave specifically, ideal placements, and maybe even go into specifics on the clock method a bit? Would that be okay?
Let's go ahead and do that. Just need to share screen. And let me see if I can.
Oh, there he is again.
There he No, I had it in one of these tabs. Okay. So, so let's talk about IceWave. And when you're starting a demonstration, so let's talk about this from the context. It could be for yourself, or it could be that you want to apply patches to a loved one, or in a business environment. What are some of the things that you do? Well, you can apply X39 behind the neck when you start off. Now, X39, when it elevates copper peptide, is going to help manage inflammation. It does a pretty respectable job at that. Eon, in my opinion, is a little bit stronger at reducing inflammation. And that's why X39 and Eon make such a great combination. But today, we'll talk about X39 and IceWave. So you could start off with X39 behind the neck or below the belly button. Placement doesn't matter so much. And we're going to apply a set of IceWave patches. So you first want to ask the person, before you ever apply the patches, what's their level of pain at? Get an assessment. Is it at a 5, a 9? What is it at? And you also want to find out, is it an acute or a chronic pain? That's actually quite a big difference. In other words, did they just get the pain in the last day, or is this something they've had for many, many years? Is it degenerative? That information can help with placements. You also, some of our members, they will give someone a drink of water before the demo. This is not necessary, and I'd only recommend doing this if someone doesn't respond. But what we found through practical experience and also through clinical research is that when people are not well hydrated, they may not respond as well to the patches. You need water to make energy, and you need water for detox, and you need water for tissue conductivity. And many people today, they just simply don't drink enough water. So those are some of the basics. Now, the clock method, this was developed by Dr. Stephen Haltiwanger, a brilliant medical doctor, who I want to give all the credit towards with this. And so Dr. Haltiwanger, what he found is that if you applied the tan patch to the point of pain, very often you could have people get pain relief just with that. But he found, after working with many, many people, that that the pain is going to radiate through the tissues in like a specific direction, right? So it's where the injury is. Now, if we had that infrared camera, we could see where the damaged tissue was. We could see the pain, but this is much quicker and it's very effective. We're going to apply, once we apply the tan patch to the point of pain, we're going to apply a white patch above it. Only need to wait, let's say 10 or 15 seconds, and then ask the person, has there been any change in the level of pain? If there's not been any change, or let's say it goes from a 10 to an 8, then we would move it over to the 3 o'clock position. Wait 10 seconds, and then ask the person again, okay, is there any change? Let's say it went from an 8 to a 7. Oh, that's okay. Now we move it again down to 6 o'clock. So we're going around the clock. Now let's say it drops to a 2. Perfect. We could just leave the patch there and we're done. If it didn't change, then we're going to move the patch finally over to the 9 o'clock position, and we would select which point worked the best. Another thing that we can do is apply the patches parallel to one another. So in this example, since the pain was in the back, we could apply the patch to the sternum in the front of the body, or just right around the thymus area. A really good example of where this works well is on the knees. So when someone has knee pain, damaged knees, you apply the tan patch on the inside of the knee and then the white patch on the outside of the knee where they're parallel to one another. And that protocol works extremely well for knee pain. So before I go on, because there's other protocols here, Emily, did that make sense to you, or do you have any questions?
It did make sense to me, but there are a few questions that are popping in here in the chat. And so I think it'd be good for us to go over that. People are asking, what's the white patch? What's the tan patch? Maybe we start with the fact that there are 2 patches in this system and why.
Okay, so the white patch, all right, a simple way to describe this is that the tan patch produces a negative polarity in the body, and the white patch produces a positive polarity. So if we were to, in electrophysiology, if we were to look at the polarity in the body, we'd find that tissues can be oriented positive or negative. And as a general rule, the right side of the body is positive, the left is negative. The outside of the body is positive, the inside of the body is negative. So this is a guide, and in placing the patches, we want to work with the natural electrical polarity of the body. So in general, most of our patches are positive, but Energy Tan and IceWave Tan are 2 examples of negative. And benefit to this is that by inducing a negative polarity, it's soothing and calming. So for example, when women have their monthly period, I'm going to make some friends now. You apply the tan patch below the belly button to the area of the cramping, and you can find that just the tan patch is enough to reduce the cramping. You can, of course, still place an Eon patch, for example, on the back of the neck or X39, and that can help too. But the tan patch below the belly button is really good for cramping. But it's because this is soothing and sedating, whereas the white patch is more stimulating. So the idea here is that think of this like a battery, that once we apply the patches, we're getting a flow of energy. So if there's like between the patches, if there's damaged tissue, right? There's an injury there. Once we apply the patches, now we get a flow of bioelectrical energy. This starts to normalize the tissue, and we get drug-free pain reduction.
Now that totally makes sense. One question that I have heard before as well is if we're trying to utilize this clock method, which you really did describe so well, thank you. How do we unstick the stickers, right? How does that work? How would you suggest utilizing this method without having issue with it not coming off or not sticking?
Yeah, so that's a fantastic question. What we do in the demonstrations is we only use half of the adhesive. Now, the entire patch is being used, so there shouldn't be confusion about that. But we're only using half the adhesive. So I would recommend applying the tan patch with half of the adhesive and the same thing with the white. Move it around. Some people like using medical tape. And then let's say we get it over here and the person says, oh, my pain is gone, right? Which is very common. Then you remove the other half of the adhesive and put the patches there permanently, right? For the day, anyway.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, that really helps. I appreciate that. You know, I also know that sometimes when people first get a sleeve of IceWave or they get a sleeve of Energy Enhancer, they may think they only received one of the type of patches, either tan or white, but there's a little slip in the front part of the sleeve. So just make sure you open that all the way up so you can get both patches because they do work best, right? You're saying when you use both, even if you can still have some relief with just the tan, right?
Yeah, yes, they are designed to be a system. So applying the tan patch, generally speaking, tan patch applied to the point of pain, and then moving the white patch around to the best location.
Perfect. I really appreciate you explaining this method because I know that while almost all of our patches are just so simple, just stick it on, right? And yes, placement can be helpful, but they work everywhere. I think for this particular patch, this is super helpful to understand exactly how to get the maximum benefit in pain relief.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this is just one protocol. There's many other protocols. For example, one easy way to use the patches is bracketing the pain. So people have lower back pain, upper back pain, and they don't want to use the clock method if it's inconvenient. They can just simply apply white on right, tan on left on the upper or lower back. And very often over a period of time, they'll get very significant reduction in pain. So this is a very reliable protocol. Another protocol that works really well is to apply the patches on the bottom of the feet. Now, a little bit of an explanation here and some things to consider is that let's say that you're working with someone that has a chronic pain like Parkinson's disease, arthritis, MS. And we're talking about treating and reducing the pain, managing the pain, not treating the disease. These points in the body and the bottom of the feet, which are known in Eastern medicine to relax and sedate the body and also improve the overall flow of energy in the body. When you don't know what else to do, if for some reason the clock method isn't working or if it's confusing and you're not sure, a really great go-to protocol is applying the patches on the bottom of the feet. So if I was working with someone and I asked them in the beginning, how long have you had the pain? If they say, oh, I've had this for years, I would immediately go to the bottom of the feet if I knew it was a chronic pain. Because with chronic pain, the overall energy in the body is reduced and you want to build up that energy as best as you can. So applying the patches on the bottom of the feet for chronic pain is extremely effective.
So there are some questions here also about this awesome guide that you're showing us.
Okay.
Where can we find this, David? That's what they're all wanting to know.
Well, Emily, you'll notice down here that it says page 96 and back up over here, page 282. So this is a guide that we've had for a long time. It was put together by a number of amazing practitioners that we have, like Karen Kahn and Dennis Lobstein that are in our community. Love you guys. And we've given webinars over time on this, but the information in this manual is really intended for practitioners because it's fairly in-depth and complex. And so we don't have it in general circulation. But if it's something our members clamor for, we can see about having an abbreviated version. I believe we have a 30-page version of it, which is less cumbersome.
Well, I know we are working on some great new tools that'll be quick sheets with the most effective placement for all of our patches. And there are placement videos that are available on our YouTube channel, as well as placement recommendations for all of our products on our website. So maybe this full guide, like you said, is a little bit more than anyone needs, because no one needs to really be an expert on this fully, truly, right? It's simple for the most part, right? So it's good to keep it simple.
Keep it simple. And yeah, again, you're working with someone in pain. I know a medical doctor in Israel, and when he's working with patients that have Parkinson's, he just applies a set of IceWave patches on the bottom of the feet and a glutathione patch below the belly button, and it works every time, according to him, for reduction in pain. Another thing that's really powerful, and I've done this many times over the years, and forgive the, I think when we created these figures, they were a little bit more politically correct than maybe they are today. So please excuse them. But in any case, after you apply a set of IceWave on the bottom of the feet, and let's say you've got X39 on the back of the neck, if the person, again, they have pain throughout their entire body, applying the one set of IceWave on the lower torso underneath the feet, and then a second set on the upper torso is crazy effective. And you've got, while I would reliably use the bottom of the feet, there are a number of points on the upper torso that work extremely well. The elbow points, which are part of the heart meridian, are some of my favorite. And if we were to look at this from an Eastern medicine perspective, what we'd say is that stimulating the bottom of the feet stimulates the water element in the body. And then stimulating the elbows here stimulates the heart, which represents fire. So combining fire and water in the body is like one of the most powerful things you can do to move energy. And we know that the heart is basically, the electrical generator of the body, and the brain is, massive user of electrical energy. So this is all to say that stimulating the kidneys and stimulating the heart will produce tremendous energy flow in the body. And again, that's the whole idea. Raise energy production, raise energy flow, and this will dramatically reduce pain. Very reliable protocol.
I love it. I really appreciate you spending this time on these protocols. I know that we always do speak about keeping it simple, and I love that our products are simple, but I know there are some that just want to know just a little bit more. So thank you for sharing those specifics.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. David, I know we have another testimonial that I'd like for us to share. Before we talk a little bit about how compliantly can we talk about these products and really who is IceWave for. So let's go ahead and watch that testimonial, and then we'll jump into that. So this next testimonial is from Dr. Barbara Jennings. She's a chiropractor out of Colorado. Let's go ahead and hear what she has to say about IceWave.
Hi, I'm Dr. Barbara Jennings, and I want to share with you something that I love about the IceWave patches from LifeWave. As a chiropractor, I've learned to always keep these in my office, some for me and some for people to buy. I learned this one day when I had a woman come in with severe pain in her right SI and L5-S1. I mean, she could barely even lay on the table. And when I touched her even the slightest bit, she would wince and flinch in pain. And it was impossible to adjust her. The only options might have been doing an ultrasound or TENS or laser, but I had IceWave patches. And so I thought, well, I'm going to see if this is going to help her, and maybe I get to adjust her. So I put the brown one at the bottom of her right SI, and I put the white one about a foot above, just right up on the muscles of the right side of her back. And in less than 5 seconds, her pain had subsided enough that I could adjust her, and not only adjust her, but adjust her normally with my drop piece table. So it was a huge game changer. And she was very happy. I was able to adjust her, get her out of pain. She got up and walked out pain-free. So I use these a lot. I use them when people have headaches, any part of the body that they have pain. I've used them a lot with patients who had surgery. I'm in Colorado, and so I have patients who break their leg or hurt their knee skiing every winter. And these have really helped my patients use much less of their painkiller medication after a surgery. And they're just such an awesome tool. They're safe to use for everyone. There's no concern with these patches interfering with any other medication a person might be on. And they act really quickly. So as a chiropractor, these are a staple in my office, really helpful. And I know they're used by many happy people at home too. So that is one of my favorite things about IceWave patches. And I hope everybody gets a chance to try them out.
You know, something interesting about our community is we do have so many health practitioners that use these products for personal and also utilize them to help their patients have some type of pain relief without drugs. And it really is pretty awesome. That's a great testimonial, isn't it?
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And it's a great example. It's one of thousands and thousands of testimonials about how practitioners and, also just business people in our community are using our products and helping improve quality of life for people all over the world. It's amazing. It's awesome.
It really is. I think one of the things that some of our members struggle with is they hear these great testimonials, they hear these incredible stories, they've experienced some incredible things, and they just want to share, right? We just want to share. We want to shout it from the rooftops. We have something that will help. But it's so important that we speak about these things in a compliant way so that we're not making claims and we're not doing things that might give people more hope than they should have, right? So can we talk a little bit, David, about how best to speak about what IceWave, I can't even speak, IceWave, how IceWave works. My gosh, my tongue was tied there. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure thing. So the first thing is no disease claims, right? This is like the most obvious thing. We're not going to make a claim that we're curing anything, that we're treating anything. We don't want to put members in the position that, unless they are a healthcare practitioner, we do not want to put ourselves in the position of being a doctor, which could cause a problem. So none of our patches are used for treating or curing any type of disease. And when it comes to pain relief, because that's the focus today, we're really focusing in on pain management. So this has nothing to do with treating a disease. It's just simply improving energy flow through the body and improving the way the body makes energy to have a better quality of life. So if someone says, well, I have Parkinson's disease and I applied the patches and now I have less pain, that's totally fine because they're making it very clear that it's just the pain level that's coming down. They're not making a claim that the Parkinson's, went away, as an example. And so that would really hold true for any type of health disorder that someone has, that if we're just talking about improving energy flow, improving quality of life, reducing pain, it's totally fine.
I appreciate you sharing that specifically because I know that it is hard to know exactly how to talk about these amazing things that we're experiencing. And I think really, when we talk about supporting certain systems in the body, supporting optimization of our body, right? Supporting quality of life, that's a way that people can really share their experiences in a way that they're not putting themselves at risk, because it is really putting themselves at risk to be able with speaking about some of these benefits in a non-compliant way, right?
Well, the governments are weird, right?
Yeah, they are.
Governments are weird. What governments will do is say, okay, you can't make a claim about wound healing. And it's like, okay, well, the human body heals itself. Any drug might facilitate wound healing, but it doesn't actually heal the wound. What it will do is support the natural process of wound healing, which is management of inflammation and activating stem cells, and the stem cells go in and do the job. So wound healing, as an example, is a natural process. So if let's say there's a product that supports the natural wound healing process, the governments, the health authorities don't want to give companies the ability to say that. They say it's a medical claim, despite the fact of it being a natural process. So these are some of the nuances with product claims we have to be careful about, right? Things that you would normally associate as being natural, the FDA in the United States and in the EU Ministry of Health, they consider these things drug claims. But anyway, that's the world we live in, unfortunately.
It is. I know we're planning to do a future call for our community that really talks a little bit about how can we talk about these amazing results in a compliant way. And I appreciate you sharing this perspective specifically on IceWave, because I do know that it is challenging and hard, and people just, again, they want to share because it's so exciting, but we do have to be mindful of those restrictions that we are under, right?
Yeah, and there's going to be people with Alzheimer's disease and ALS, MS, Parkinson's disease, cancer. Those individuals, we should always precaution and say, look, if you want to use these products, go see your doctor and make sure that it's okay for your specific condition. And if your doctor says that it's okay and you want to try it for helping you with your pain, then that's, totally okay. So, so we reduce any liability to the individual distributor and to the company. The doctor, the practitioner, signs off. And of course, because our products are non-invasive, most doctors aren't going to have any issue with it. And then even let's say, someone has a significant health disorder like Alzheimer's, we're not treating the condition, we're just helping to improve their quality of life. So if we stay within those parameters, we're okay. Despite the fact that, I think many people will say, well, this looks like it can be more than what's going on than pain relief. That's wonderful. We just don't make that claim.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that perspective and that advice on how people can really help those that are considering know the best way to approach using these great products. So thank you again so much, David. Really appreciate everything today.
You're welcome. I just saw we got a chat where from one of our members in France, and they say doctors in France don't believe there's energy in the body. Well, you can ask that doctor if that's true, then how is it possible that you can think to move your body around? How does that work if there's no energy in the body? That's kind of silly.
Goodness. It is goodness. And I mean, I guess one suggestion is you're working with maybe more traditional doctors, or maybe even doctors that are a little bit open to different ways of managing different things within the body. You can share the research, right? I mean, print it off, take it with you, and just be open. Here's what this product does.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, David. And thank you to everyone in our community for being on our call today. I know that you're very passionate about this amazing technology, and I hope that today, hearing David speak specifically about X39 and IceWave together in a way to support pain management is an excellent tool for you and for those that that may be experiencing some of these debilitating effects of chronic or even acute pain. So we look forward to seeing you again on our next live LifeWave Connect product next month. Again, the first Wednesday of every month is when we do our product training. You can watch the replay of this in English immediately within our Business Builder Facebook group, or you can see the replay in all languages on our LifeWave Health channel with YouTube. So that will be done within a week. All translated versions of this webinar will be posted there. And additionally, we do broadcast this twice. So we have our morning call at 11 a.m. Pacific, and we have our evening call at 6 p.m. Pacific. So if you're not able to watch the first version of LifeWave Connect, hopefully you can check it out on the second playing of it, and or like I mentioned, on our Facebook group. So again, we appreciate you being here. We love that you're part of our LifeWave community, our LifeWave family, and we hope you too can have some great product experience with both X39 and IceWave and many of the other LifeWave products. We'll talk to you all again soon and see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.